Somebody's got Trey.
What do you mean somebody's got?
Somebody's kidnapped our son.
$17.5 million in an all-black Jordan backpack.
Try me if you think I'm playing.
I ain't got.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Cinema Daily US. I'm Matthew Schuchman, and today I'm here to talk about Highest to Lowest, Spike Lee's remake of Akira Kurosawa's High and Low. Now, before we get started, I will say that I know for a fact Spike Lee, very specifically when he does remakes of this sort, hasn't done many, but at least when referring to the Old Boy remake, we'll say, where there was a very famous movie that had a book or for Old Boy, a manga that preceded it. He says he's adapting that original source material, unlike Network and Bamboozled, where it was just the film, and he's translating that. So I will do my best to separate high and low and highest to lowest, but unfortunately, that is impossible because Akira Kurosawa must be rolling in his grave. So let's start with what mostly this film is, the negatives. Talking about both of these films or both of these stories without trying to ruin them if you don't know anything about them. High and Low, the original film, deals with a character who is forced out of a certain type of lifestyle based on this kidnapping that occurs. And I won't ruin what the kidnapping is per se, because there's if you don't know, there's part of the story that fits into that too. But the whole point is that this is a character study in a lot of ways about somebody who is forced into now a different style of life because of these situations and how that affects him. Does that happen to Denzel's character in Highest to Lowest? Yes. Does it have the same consequences? Absolutely not. And so on a thematic point alone, Highest to Lowest just fails by misunderstanding the material, or misunderstanding not necessarily the plot of the material, but the point it's trying to make. Denzel has ins and outs that are the same of Kingo in High and Low, just Toshiro Mifune. But they are in complete different circumstances where one has to go clearly down a certain roadway that is going to take their life in one direction, where the other, even if they take the same road, their outs make it a much different situation. This is so vague the way I can talk about it without ruining it. If you reach out to me if you want more details, we can go into that. But even on a cinematic visual level, Highest to Lowest is such a strange movie. I feel that it is, besides Denzel, who isn't amazing, but he's still good, everybody in this film, even Jeffreywright at times, feel like they are in some weird soap opera, and their performances are so strange and awkward that it is off-putting. There is also literally a scene where we get the quote-unquote shit just got real to showing an image that is so inconsequential to most of the characters in the film who hardly even talked about what it's referring to. And when I say that, literally somebody says, "Oh shit just got real." It is so pathetic. The way the music swells in and the acting when the discovery of the kidnapping happens is laughable. And I know it's a bit of Spike Lee's, calling card to these kind of fourth wall breaking moments where there are characters directly referencing dialogue straight to the camera. But the way it's done here is so unimportant to the story and so unimportant to everything other than him trying to chide Boston sports fanatics. And look, I'm a hardcore New York sports fan. I'm a hardcore New Yorker. I love the fucking Knicks. But all the crap that goes on in this movie is unnecessary. This was such a disappointment, and I feel like it was a travesty that this was made in any way whatsoever. Whether or not it is sticking to some sort of source material that was different than High and Low in a certain sense doesn't matter. This ruins everything that's good about that story, and I could only find so few positives. So let's talk about some of the positives. Sure, Denzel does a good job, and he actually, even though he's not technically rapping at one point, it's interesting to hear he's got a good flow. I was surprised to hear Denzel's flow be so smooth and so calm. And it's also, he has a lot of scenes with, not a lot of scenes, but he got a fair amount of scenes with Michael Potts. If you're a Wire fan, you may know him as Brother Mouzone. That's a lot of people can recognize him. And he looks in this film so similar to the actor that played. I unfortunately forgot the character's name and the actor's name. It's very poor of me. But he played the guy in prison in Malcolm X that turned Malcolm onto Islam. And so even though it's not Michael Potts and Malcolm X, just seeing him with Denzel kind of brought a lot of these rush of feelings back because Malcolm X, I love that movie to death. And so like there was a little bit from that I was able to gleam off of. That was a positive. Plus, there is for a movie that's not a horror film, one of the greatest jump scares of not just 2025, of the past, I don't know, 15, 20 years in this movie that didn't need to be there, but that's why it's such a good jump scare, I guess. But ultimately, this movie is just a failure on so many levels. And I would only go as just say a D plus is giving it graciously something. Till next time. See you then.